to Teatime and Tarot on Looking Glass Letterbox. If you haven't been here before, this is a daily tarot reading that I'm doing Mondays through Fridays. Just to consider what the tarot has to serve up today. It's a general reading. It's not for any specific question, any specific person. Just see what cards present us to consider on a daily basis throughout the week. If you've been here before, welcome back. I'm glad to see you again. If you're new here, welcome as well. I'm delighted in your company. I appreciate that your time and your attention is valuable, so thank you for sharing some of it with me. And cards are, oh, there we go. So first out on the table, we have the Three of Cups. I think this was in the reading yesterday, or was it the day before? This is a point of bounty, of bliss, of rejoicing, of celebration, the fulfillment that you've already created and you've already achieved with friends or community, or even just, within yourself, taking time to appreciate that, what you've been working on, the things that you've done, the things you've been focusing on, and you've accepted and received as resonant for you and important for you. It's a time to celebrate because you also have the Four of Wands. This is in your emotional connections and relationships and concerns with the Three of Cups. And this is in your actions and your behaviors and the things that you've actually done, celebrating the effort that you put forth and the benefit that it has provided to you. Sort of the first point of three is the point of creation, bringing the imaginary into the reality. Four is the point of stability and success. So whatever successes you've had, whatever defeats that you've had, obstacles that you've had, you've worked through them, you've gained some wisdom, gained some resonance, gained some sort of benefit from them that allowed you to come to a point of stability and bliss in the initial stages. So take time to appreciate that and recognize that, because that's sort of those smaller points of activity. If it's not a huge, great big win, we tend to sort of gloss over the smaller victories, in the initial stages and the learning process and the first steps of down the path of what it is that we're seeking to accomplish or come into connection with or achieve, whatever the ambition or intention is. The initial stages of development aren't as widely celebrated or recognized as they should be. So take some time to do that. Think about what you've done, how far you've come, what you've established so far, and acknowledge the fulfillment it provides you. And also with the Three of Cups, other people, if you've been working in collaboration, or you have friends or family or relationships where they have been focused on some sort of development and some sort of intention, and they've progressed through that, take time to support them as well. Because the Three of Cups is about interdependent support. It's not codependent. Every woman here is developing their own thing. They all have their own lives, their own ambitions, their own intentions, their own relationships that they're focused on, and they're supporting each other. There's not envy or jealousy or anything like that in the Three of Cups. It's about being supportive of everyone's independent lives and progressions. What else do we have in here? Four of Wands is a point of celebration within your community. Well, so sort of like the first milestone of activity. It can also be a wedding, a graduation, an anniversary, some sort of celebration within your community as well. And then we have, the Nine of Swords. Okay, so some anxiety, some negative mental chatter, keeping you up at night, some sort of worry that's causing you stress. With the Nine of Swords, this is all happening in your head, though. With the Nine of Swords, these anxieties, these thoughts, these communications, worst case scenarios, spinning that story out until everything is awful and you don't know what to do. But again, it is happening. This is what's happening in your thoughts. It's not happening externally to you. It's your mind taking a concern or a stress or an insecurity or something like that and running away with the imagination, developing it into something bigger and more sort of insidious in your own thoughts than it is outside of yourself. So, and then we have the Page of Wands. So being excited about something, being inspired by something, getting sort of amped up and ready to make plans to embark upon a new endeavor, because Wands is our actions and behaviors and our passions and motivations, and what's connected to our purpose, what we're driven to do, what we're compelled to do. And the Page is the novice in that. So being curious, asking questions, looking into things, getting an idea of what to do next and how you're going to develop a blueprint and set out a plan to move forward. So let's see what we have at the bottom of the deck. The Hierophant. All right, so tradition, institutions, structures, infrastructures, traditional education, higher authority, greater wisdom, mentorship, faith, those sorts of things. So for some of you, whatever anxiety this is, I mean, you have good stuff happening, but this anxiety is tripping up the process. Why is this here? Why is this anxiety applying here? Is it old thought patterns that you haven't been able to release that's preventing you from really enjoying this space? Old expectation, traditional expectation. Maybe you're operating outside of that. Oh, right under there we have the Devil. Okay, so temptation, behavior, self-sabotage, things that we keep ourselves tethered to that prevent us from stepping into this space, being excited and emboldened and empowered to step out onto a new road. So this is the thoughts and the behaviors and the habits that we do that stand in our own way, that keep us held back, that we keep ourselves chained to or tied to on purpose for whatever reason. Everybody has their own reasons that they do some things like that. So it may be with this Nine of Swords and the Devil and the Hierophant here, you may need to seek out some mentorship or some treatment or some help in those areas. Okay, don't be afraid to ask for help. Help is available. All right, let's clarify the Three of Cups. Four of Swords. Okay, so taking some time to come review the past, what brought you to the present. You know, this is in thoughts and communications and story and perception and perspective. Again, it's a point of stability because it's the point of 4. Point of stability and control. It's related to the Emperor. So taking time to restfully and sort of tranquilly considering the past and what led you up to this point of success so that you can glean the benefits of those processes, acknowledge the difficulties, acknowledge the joy, acknowledge the struggle, and acknowledge the, what's the word I'm looking for? The delight that you've had in the entire process, and reconcile those things so that you can come to a point of balanced equanimity to move forward further throughout the process. So this Three of Cups is taking time to appreciate what you've done and how you've gotten to the position that you are, not in a boastful sort of a way, but in a receptive, rejoiceful, grateful sort of a way. Gratitude is very important during a progression of development. Let's clarify the Four of Wands. Four of Wands, Six of Swords. Okay, so celebrating a breakthrough, so moving on to the next shore, leaving behind what doesn't support you, what's no longer available to you, what sort of represses you or limits you, and moving on to a space or an environment within your decision, whether that's, you know, in your own estimation, in your own perspective, or whether that's physically moving locations. But 6 is about coming into a point of connection, reciprocity, reflection, and exchange. And with Swords, it's in your decisions, your thoughts, and your perspectives in the story that you like. So this is sort of celebrating the closing of one chapter and moving on to the next chapter. And with the Page of Wands here, that's supports that because it's the spirit of adventure and endeavor and being very excited and amped up and raising your frequency to an excited, receptive sort of a space and out of a negative, heavy, negatively charged space. So that may be why some of this anxiety is here, stepping into the unknown quantity. Two of Pentacles, clarifying the Nine of Swords. So maintaining that balance, that calm balance. Two of Pentacles is about being flexible and fluid, adaptable, changeable, to maintain those things that responsibilities that you have in your life that need to be sustained and maintained and managed, while also being open to what time and circumstance and your own ambitions and endeavors serve up to work into that mix. So some readjustment, rearrangement, a little bit of juggling, a little bit of shuffling, so that you can maintain a calm balance. So there's some anxiety, maybe about the stability and the choices that you have in front of you. And I think the Nine of Swords, it's sort of a resistance of letting go of thought patterns and opinions and perspectives and understandings and communications within your own story that, like with that devil, that you keep yourself tied to in order to limit yourself. So some of those things may no longer apply, and shifting out of that headspace, changing your mind about those things, intellectually, mentally, in your mind and in your thoughts, releasing those tethers so that you can be free of them, so that you can move on with the Six of Swords and be relieved of those ties is a difficult adjustment. It's hard to do because it takes a long time to change ingrained thought patterns, and it takes a long time to sort of edit your own story, the story that you tell yourself about who you are, what you're capable of, what you have available to you, what you have to do, you know, what sort of infringes on your freedom or ambition that won't allow you to do it in your own thoughts. Releasing those things to give yourself permission to do so. Those are difficult things to do, and it takes time and patience with yourself, kindness, empathy, and compassion for yourself and for the other people and circumstances in your life, but consistently remembering to tell yourself, hey, I'm allowed. I have permission. I give myself permission to do this. The only person that can limit me in my thoughts and my ideas and my story is myself. I can, do what I feel is required or process through these thoughts to release myself of these limitations and this anxiety. Page of Wands, clarified by Knight of Swords. Okay, so once you work through this anxiety, this point of contention, this dark night of the soul with the Knight of Swords, you're going to be in a position to a sort of swift reaction, swift decision, and swooping in the direction of what your ambition is with this Page of Wands. So a swift decision to embark upon this journey. But again, the Page of Wands is the planning phase. So making sure that you have the map, making sure you have the equipment or the gear or whatever it is that you need, whatever resources you need to set out initially upon the road that you'd like to travel. You have the Ace of Wands at the bottom of the deck. So that's ignition, the ignition point, the happening, the doing, the taking the first steps, the activating, the process. Okay, so a little bit of anxiety for some of you out there related to a bold and, fulfilling and joyful ambition, and allowing yourself to feel the joy and the delight of that experience. Okay, because sometimes this Nine of Swords is just not allowing yourself to enjoy the fruits of your labor, to enjoy the success that you had. It can be, some people are fearful of acknowledging and embracing their own achievement and their own success because they're afraid that it's going to be taken away, or that it's not real, or that, they imagine the whole thing, or that they don't deserve it, sort of imposter syndrome as well. So take some time to work through those thoughts and resolve those things with the Four of Swords, and appreciate and be in a space of gratitude of where you are. And if you need assistance or help or further education or more information for that, ask for it. And in the planning phase also with the Hierophant, they can apply in both. Seeking out information from traditional education and structures and what's typically available before you, so that you know how you can create and innovate and personalize the experience that you would like to have moving forward. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Magician. You are called upon to and empowered to do so. The Magician is the card of inception, inspiration, wild capability, having what you need to get started, and being compelled and called upon to actively do so with the Magician. And then between the two, between the Hierophant, the education, and the information that you feel that you need or that will be helpful and supportive to whatever it is that you're planning next, and the activity of the Magician is the Sun. The answer is yes. Go do. Like this poor lady is stuck in the dark night of the soul, you know, with all worst case scenarios, and you know, that playing out in her imagination. And the Sun says, yes, it's going to be okay. Get started, make plans, ask questions, take the decision to allow yourself to step into a process like this. There is information and education and mentorship available to you if you're afraid that you don't know what to do next. You know, you are empowered and able and capable of learning and growing and evolving and changing. So don't think that you can't do it, that it's not possible for you because there's something intrinsically wrong with you. That is not true. You are capable and you are able and you can. Because you can. You know, everything is illuminated. The answer is yes. Raise your frequency. Be excited about it. Be replenished. Be nourished by it. And sort of release yourself from this negative charge of expecting defeat or failure or insignificance, or, you know, whatever insecurity or inadequacy or anxiety that is being triggered within you in a progression like this. Take the time to process, okay, why do I feel like that? Is it based on just my experience of things similar to it in the past? Or is there something within the scenario that I feel is not quite right that I need to fix? Or is it just old story? I don't think I can, so therefore I will not be able to. Well, you know what? The inverse is true. If you believe that you can, then it must be possible for you to do so. All right, so consider that as you're moving forward throughout your progression and your development. And then we have the Universe Has My Back. If you haven't checked out the monthly videos, all of February is posted for the monthly overviews. I am currently working on the March overviews. That's exciting, and you can check those out on the main page. If you're interested in the extended overview readings, I've opened up a Patreon. I'll put the information in the description if you're interested in extended readings. And I'd appreciate it. It would be very helpful if you could like, comment, share, subscribe if you'd like to support the channel, if you like what I'm doing here. Thank you for that. And let's see, what does the Universe Have My Back have to say? Obstacles are detours in the right direction. All right, so this is the theory that the obstacle is the way. If you come up against a challenge, come up something that you're afraid to look into, afraid to deal with, or you're challenged by it, or you don't feel, you know, adequate that you'll be able to handle it effectively. There's something within that obstacle, something within that challenge that you are meant to engage with, because it's going to provide you with experience and knowledge and information that is going to be beneficial to you along the way. It supports your development. It supports your evolution into this next level of your own experience. All right, so don't be afraid of obstacles. If the challenge or an obstacle comes up, you know, consider the obstacle. Consider, okay, what is it that I am going to learn from this interaction? Where is it that I feel like my skills are weak or not as strong as I'd like them to be, that intimidates me about this situation? And where is it that I'm strong? You know, where is it that I am capable and inspired and actionable? You know, and then balancing those two so that you can strengthen your skills in the weaker aspects of your own abilities, or that you feel are your weaker aspects, and hone the skills that you feel are already strong. All right, so don't be intimidated or afraid of the obstacle. That also could be why the Hierophant is here, you know, to seek out more education, more information, more experience, mentorship, that sort of thing, for whatever it is that you personally are dealing with, because again, it's going to be different for all of us. So the obstacle is the way. Okay. That is all that I have for you today. Thank you so much for checking in, spending time with me. Have a fantastic Wednesday, I believe it is. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.